What up, though? Welcome to Race Support. I'm your colorful host, Jordan Brown. Last episode, we discussed racism in this year's campaign along with police relations with Black Americans. Depending on who you voted for throughout this election, your last few weeks have been either great or an emotional breakdown. Many people have complained that these Americans are sore losers or have claimed that when Obama became president, that his detractors never did, when in reality, Obama had as many protesters as we do now. I think what we should look at here is why people are so emotional about the reaction. It's the fact that they're scared of what a country led by Trump could look like. Since the Indian election, social media has seen a spike in racist incidents. According to Fortune News, Southern Poverty Law Center has received 200 hate crime reports since Election Day. These have consisted of racist or anti-Semitic vandalism and violence. Many of the reports have revolved around Donald Trump winning the election. Since the ending of the election, social media has seen a spike in racist incidents. According to Fortune News, Southern Poverty Law Center received 200 hate crime reports since Election Day. These have consisted of racist or anti-Semitic vandalism and violence. Many of the reports have revolved around Donald Trump winning the election. Now, Sunday morning in Silver Spring, Maryland, the Episcopal Church of Our Savior were alarmed by a sign advertising that Spanish services and had been vandalized with the words of Trump, nation, whites only, also written on their memorial garden. Though the church made it onto social media, other churches with Latino congregations face similar issues. At the University of Pennsylvania, Black students were unknowingly added to a racist GroupMe message, and the messages consisted of violent threats made towards them. One of the main perpetrators in the group chat was named Daddy Trump, while the chat was named Mudman. On Twitter, you can find the screenshots of messages with racial slurs, a calendar event for daily lynching, and old images of African Americans being lynched. In Michigan, at Royal Oak Middle School, students began chanting and build that wall during their lunch period, referring to Trump's promise to build a wall on the Mexican border. Seeing grown men doing this is one thing, but young kids chanting is kind of alarming, to say the least. These are only a few of the some 200 record hate crimes since the election. This spike in recent calls of hate crimes points out that some environments aren't always best for people of color. I think it was very important here for people of color for them to feel safe in their environments. While currently attending Hasty College here in Nebraska, I haven't experienced the feeling of being unsafe, but there are times where I might have felt unwelcome or that someone dislikes me for my color of skin. There are times where white males will speak racial slurs behind my back. Sometimes you'll catch someone saying the word nigger around you. When I address them, they make me seem like I'm the one who is in the wrong, as if the word had no meaning to it or it's a joke. I can remember my early life on a less diverse campus where you get stared at going into the cafe. Whoa. Yeah, okay. I fucked that up too. Damn it. All right, one more time, Schuster. One more time, and then we're good. I promise.
I'm just chilling, bro.
I know. I don't want you to be here all night. I'm trying to be here all night either because I need to edit shit. That's why we have run-throughs. All right. Last shot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. These are only a few of the some of the 200 record hate crimes since the election. This spike in recent calls of hate crimes points out that some environments aren't always the best for people of color. I think it was very important here for people of color is for them to feel safe in their environments. While currently attending Hasty College here in Nebraska, I have never experienced the feeling of being unsafe. But there are times where I might feel unwelcome or that someone dislikes me for my color of skin. There are times where white males will speak racial slurs behind my back. Sometimes you'll catch someone saying the word nigger around you, and when I address them, they make me seem like I'm the one who's in the wrong, as if the word has no meaning or it is a joke. I can remember my early life here on campus when it was less diverse, where I would get stared at going into the cafe or going somewhere where a lot of people on campus are at. People would try and make certain jokes that aren't funny, but actually offensive. But again, I'm afraid of being wrong again in their eyes, when in reality, it should be the other way around. Now here today, I have two of my good friends here to discuss race here on campus and how they feel being a minority and other perspectives in that way. Hayne Jones and DC. Thanks, guys, for being here on my show today. I appreciate it a lot. My first question would be for DC. So you've been here a year longer than me, so I just want to know, how have you experienced living here as a minority with being a predominantly white school?
I've had a couple of incidents where, I felt uncomfortable or, as you were saying that I felt like I would be in the wrong for saying something to somebody. for either using a racial slur or, telling a joke that, kind of went a little further than just being a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first got here, I remember it was just me and a couple of my friends that were, black, and we just didn't really feel like we were, welcomed on campus as much as the other students. And like I said, it's gotten a little bit better, but at the same time, especially with stuff that's been happening probably the last 2-3 years, it doesn't seem like it's going to change anytime soon. And I mean, I still have incidents. I still get looks when I go places, and just sometimes I never feel like I'm unsafe, but I just don't feel like I'm welcomed. And I mean, like I said, it hasn't really changed much, but.
I can understand what you said. I remember when I first got here in my freshman year, like you said, there was a few of you guys, like even then, there's probably 10 to 15. Majority of us play football and whatnot. But even those first 2 years, things just felt different, as I explained before. But I don't know. I feel like things have gotten better, but there's still ways where things can grow even more better, or people can be more aware of how to treat others of different colors and different ethnicities. But like, Hayden, do you feel that people who are your peers like had different views as such as you do? Because I know you are. Well, I mean, we're good friends, and you're friends with a lot of minorities. Do you think people see us or other people like that in a different way than you would, or say things that you think might have been too far when you're just around them yourselves?
I mean, as much as it sucks, yeah. I mean, it's always been around, which it's hard to think that somebody could say something like that or do something like that to somebody, because at the end of the day, like we're the same person. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you wake up in the morning, you put your pants on like I put my pants on. Like there's nothing different. I mean, I consider you a brother. I consider you a brother. I mean, it's hard for me to think that somebody could actually go out there and say something like that or have that view. But at the end of the day, there's incidents where it does happen, and it sucks. I mean, I wouldn't wish that upon anybody ever, for sure.
You ever been in a situation where you felt, where you were seeing a person who's a minority be disrespected, and then you felt the need to speak up, or just were appalled at the accusation, just the language used around them at all?
Yeah. One time in a store, it was me and you and another one of our friends, Romy, who is Mexican. And we walked into the store, and the attendant didn't even come up and say hi to us. She kind of followed us and just kind of watched us as we walked around the store, looking at different stuff, and she kept her distance, but you could tell like she was just keeping an eye on us. And I actually knew the manager there, and apparently she told the manager to keep an eye on us because we looked suspicious, and we hadn't done anything. We just walked in and just looked at different, things on shelves, and that's it. And I've never been around anything like that before. I've never had that experience. I've never had to, I've never gone through anything like that. And to see that firsthand, even something small like that, that's not fair, just because you're black, he's Mexican. I don't think, it honestly just baffles me that somebody would just think like, hey, you should watch them. Like, because I wonder like what would happen if we walked in separately, you know what I'm saying? Like you two walked in and I walked in, So it's, that's probably one of the only experiences I've had. There's been little things and stuff, but that was one of the biggest ones that's had an impact on me for sure.
I think I like that you spoke about you never experienced that before, so like it's kind of with awareness. And DC, you can chime in on this question too. Like, do you think a lot of the maybe racial comments or even ideas of racism that people don't know about is because they're not aware, haven't been in experiences with other minorities that deal with the kind of things day to day?
Yeah. Yes and no, because for one, you might have not been in that situation, and it's not a bad thing. At first, it may be awkward, but if you have friends, you know, you get new friends that are from a different place than you or a different race than you. You know, you can ask them like, hey man, like what's cool? Like what can I say around you? What can I not? I mean, if, you know, to your black friend, hey, like there should be no instance to where, you know, the N-word should be cool. Like a lot of people think that, oh, I have black friends, I can say the N-word. No, that's not the case. Like it might be an awkward conversation, but you'll know where that boundary is. And like I said, it's kind of wishy-washy, but I don't know.
I think like what you're saying is like when in doubt, don't even say it. You know?
That's what I'm trying to get at. And I mean, if you question it in your own mind, then there shouldn't be a need to say it. And I mean, there's incidents, you know, on campus, especially. I know, you know, with a couple of you guys, you know, you're at a party or something, somebody gets a little too much alcohol in them or something like that, and then they start throwing out the N-word or this, or, I mean, it's not just with, you know, with black people, it's with Hispanic people, Mexican people, Asian people. I mean, it's of all races. Some people just get a little too much alcohol in them, and you kind of see who they really are because they have no filter, and they just start throwing stuff out there, and it's sad, but at the same time, from society, you should know what's cool and what's not. You know what I mean? A lot of people watch TV, and you know, a lot of people on social media, you can see what gets under people's skin, and you just based off that, a lot of people know what they can and can't say, what goes and what doesn't. So that's what I'm trying to say, that yes and no. If you haven't experienced that with an actual person of a different race, you know, it's still not an excuse to act a fool and to say racial things that just would make anybody uncomfortable.
Coming to close, I know we all had different point of views, and as Americans, this is how things are in this country. How do you guys think we should move forward, person by person, especially in this place as small as here, and as a country, after having such a dramatic and controversial election with Trump and Hillary?
I mean, it's gonna be tough, man. Like, just with everything that Trump has said, and I don't know him. I don't agree with some of the stuff he's trying to do, but just based off what he said, you know, he doesn't fly right with me. And with his election, it's brought a lot of racism out, and I've seen on social media somebody say, well, Trump's election brought out a lot of racism that a lot of people said were gone, that, you know, was abolished, that, oh, we're not a racist country, you know, we're not being racist, we're just looking out for ourselves. And within the last, you know, week, it's just been blown up all over social media, just racist slurs back and forth. And, you know, racism isn't born. You're not born with it. You know, somebody taught you that. You learned that from somewhere. You learned to hate. Yeah, you learned to hate another race from somebody else. And I think it's just, you just gotta realize that that person's the same as you. Yeah, they're a different skin color. Yeah, they come from a different place, but that person's the same as you. That person is trying to make money like you are. That person's trying to raise their family like you are. That person is the same exact person as you. They're just a different skin color. And until people realize that, we're always gonna have racism, and you know, we're always gonna have problems as a nation, as a country. We're just gonna have problems within ourselves, and it can tear us apart really quick.
What do you have on this subject?
I think, you know, at this point, the best thing we do is all come together as one. You know, as yourself, you need to love, you know, everybody as you would want to be loved. You know, like I want to treat you how I want you to treat me. I want to treat, you know, like a girl how I'd want, you know, somebody to treat my sister. It's the same thing. You know, at the end of the day, you know, there's not much we can do about the election, but there's something we can do about what's going on around us. That all starts with us. I'm a big person on, loving everyone the same as you want to be loved. And I think that it really does start with us. And if you do see something or you do hear something, stand up, don't just let it fly, stand up and, even if you don't know the person, stand up for them because they might not be able to stand up for themselves. Like I'd do anything for either one of you, so anything like that, it starts with us.
I greatly appreciate that. I want to thank you guys again for being on my show. So this is our last episode of Race Support. I appreciate everyone who's been watching, who's appreciated the episodes I've been giving you. And so once again, I am Jordan Brown. This is Race Support. Stay woke.